All right. Come up here, be a reader. Shalom, Israel. It's Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Today is the feast, first night of the Feast of Hachaanakuh. The Feast of Hachaanakuh is about when we defeated the Greeks in ancient history. We defeated the Greeks and got our land back. That's what this is about. All right, let's get the scriptures out. We're going to be using the Apocrypha tonight. Let's get the Apocrypha. Mm-hmm. No. That one got the Apocrypha in it, that black book. It do. Yeah.
I don't realize. I'm looking at it as later.
We'll go to the book of the Maccabees. I want you to come up here, Kodak. I want you to come up here on the podium to read.
I can come up there?
If you called upon by the priest to read. Just like a Sabbath service.
I'm going. I didn't know I was here to do this.
Yeah, when you called upon. You sit in this chair over here. Yes, either one, whatever one you feel more comfortable in.
I'll be right here.
All right. Let's go. So we're gonna read from the Apocrypha today. We're gonna go to
Doc. Some shades. You good? Well, maybe rocking the shades.
let's get First Maccabees 1 and 11. Yeah, First Maccabees 1 and 11. Yeah, First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
In those days went out of Israel wicked men. So don't ever let nobody tell you that there ain't no wicked Israelites, because there is. There's wicked Israelites that come out of Israel. It happened in the scriptures, and it happens today. Go ahead.
Come God, who persuaded men, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
He said, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. That's what they said back then. That's what our people were saying. So let's go make a covenant with the heathens, with the same heathens that committed crimes against us. During the time of the Greeks, they boiled brothers alive. They threw they unalived children, threw them off of the castle walls. All that happened. And during that time, wicked men wanted us to join those same people that did that to us. Go ahead.
Come. That are around about us.
Mm-hmm.
For since we departed from, we have had much sorrow.
So, and they said, since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. That's what that's what the wicked think. They don't say we should join to the Lord. Since we disobeyed the Lord, we had much sorrow. They say, since we stopped joining the heathens, now we have much sorrow. That's what they think in their heads, because they hate the Most High. They hate the Most High.
Right.
Go ahead.
Come. Verse 12. So this device pleased them well.
And so this device pleased them well to do what they wanted to do, which is join the heathens. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 3 or 13. Then certain of the people were so forward wherein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen.
They went to the king to get permission to do like the heathen. Not to keep the Israelite customs, but to do like the heathens. They went to join the heathens to get permission to be more like the heathens. All right, go ahead.
Come. Verse 14. Whereupon they built a place of exercise.
Whereupon they built a place of exercise. Go ahead.
Come. At Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen.
Like we brought out at camp many times this week. They brought out places of exercise so they can be like the heathens, because the during that time in the ancient times, they had the Olympic Games, just like they have the Olympic Games today, where they had brothers running and jumping and boxing and throwing the discs and doing all the Olympic hurdles, doing the hurdles. They had that. They had that. We was training for that back in the Bible days, which has nothing to do with the Lord. It has nothing to do with the Most High. And so that's what we did. That's what our people wanted to do. They didn't want to serve the Lord. They want to play sports. They want to run for the Olympics. Go ahead.
Come with God. Verse 15. And made themselves uncircumcised.
Made themselves what?
Uncircumcised.
They made themselves uncircumcised. Because they knew the heathens wasn't for circumcision. The heathens weren't for circumcision. So we stopped doing circumcision. We stopped doing it because the heathens didn't want to do it. Even though the Lord told us to do it. He didn't tell every people to do it. But we think we're supposed to be like the heathens. We think we're supposed to be like every other. When that's not how we're supposed to be separate. We're supposed to be a holy people. Go ahead.
Come with God. Verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen.
We built a place of exercise according to the customs of the heathen. That's why we so caught up with sports and athletes today when they ain't going to do nothing for us. A sport athlete, a sport's not going to do nothing for our people. It never have done it, and it never will. Our people think because we brother get a contract that, oh, that's good for our whole race. Our whole race is good, better off because a few brothers get a couple contracts, get a couple coins. So they think, oh yeah, we're good. You're good. We're good. It's good for us because such and such got a contract. But they didn't notice all the thousands of our people that wasted our time playing the sport, trying to chasing that contract. How many brothers you know went to chase that contract? Oh, I want to be an NBA star. I want to be an NFL. Look how many lives wasted trying to chase that damn dream. So one make it, we think, oh, it's good. Even though we all of us didn't get nothing from it and we waste our time, we think we're good.
Yeah,
Hold your point. And so that's not going to help our people.
Right.
Go ahead. Let's get more in the scripture.
Come. Verse 15. And made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant.
Made ourselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant.
Come.
All right. Go ahead.
And joined themselves to the heathen.
And we did what?
Joined themselves to the heathen.
We joined ourselves to the heathen.
Goddamn right.
Go ahead.
And were sold to the mischief.
And were sold to do mischief. The same thing. What happens when our people go to them colleges, universities? They start what? Pledging Greek fraternities. They start pledging to become a part of the Greek lifestyle. I'm an Alpha Bi Alpha. I'm a Beta Phi Beta. I'm a mega sci-fi laser on. Whatever the hell they damn calling themselves. They want to do that, which is joining themselves. That's why they're doing it, because they know this is joining to what they want. This is what they did. This is what their customs were. All right, let's get more.
Come. Verse 16. Now, when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt.
Antiochus was one of the rulers after Alexander the Greek. He ruled around in Turkey, and he wanted to rule over Egypt also. But Egypt was given to another one of Alexander the Greek's generals, Ptolemy. So he wanted to reign over more kingdoms, this guy right here. The only problem was our kingdom was in between his kingdom and the other kingdom. So that's when we start having problems. Because our kingdom was next to his kingdom, and he had to go through ours to get to the kingdom he wanted to try to take over. In his mind, he figured, well, I'll just take over their kingdom too, and then move on to the next kingdom and take over that one too. But thank the Most High, we had righteous brothers that didn't stand for that. The Maccabees. Go ahead.
Come God. He thought to reign over Egypt.
He thought to reign over Egypt. Go ahead.
That he might have dominion over 2 realms.
So he can have dominion over 2 realms. So he can be over more of the kingdoms of the earth. Go ahead.
Come God. Verse 17. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude.
He entered into Egypt with a great multitude. Go ahead.
Come God. With chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Come God. Verse 18. And made war against Philistine.
Let me see. What word is it? Ptolemy.
Ptolemy,
Mm-hmm.
king of Egypt.
Yep, at that
but
time.
Ptolemy
Mm-hmm.
was afraid of him
Mm-hmm.
and fled.
Mm-hmm.
And many were wounded to death.
Mm-hmm. So now you got these two heathen nations fighting. Go ahead.
Come.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 20. And after that, Antiochus,
Antiochus.
Antiochus
Mm-hmm.
cities in the land of Egypt.
Yep. So now the guy went and took over that. Okay. Go ahead.
Come. He smote Egypt. He returned again in the 40 and 3rd year and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude.
So after he took over that place, then he started taking over, trying to come against our place in Jerusalem. Like I said, he said, obviously, we next to it, so he wanted to come and try to take our land. Okay, go ahead.
Come. And after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt. He returned again in the 143rd year and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude.
Went up against us with a great multitude. Go ahead.
Verse 21. And entered proudly into the sanctuary. Mm-hmm. And took away the golden altar.
So he took away the golden altar. Now we know about the golden altar because we had to try to get our things gold like we used to have.
Right.
We used to have it extreme gold, real gold, strong gold. But they took away the gold altar. Go ahead.
Damn right. And the candlestick of light,
Mhm.
and all of the vessels thereof.
Mhm. Hey, Shalom, Lord Christ. Go ahead.
Verse 22. And all the table of the shewbread, and the pouring vessels, and the vials.
So they took pouring vessels, things we poured, because we had the oil and the wine in our temples. Nice containers and gold and everything for oil and wine and candlesticks and everything. They took it. They said, "Oh, this is good. We can melt this down and have something else." They took our things from our temple, man. Go ahead.
And the crown, and the golden ornaments,
And the golden ornaments and the crown. We had a King David's crown. Golden ornaments. Go ahead.
that were before the temple,
Yeah.
all which he pulled off.
They pulled off the gold. So anywhere we had gold, they took the gold down. Go ahead.
Verse 23. He took also the silver and gold.
He took the silver and the gold. Hey, Slacky, can y'all close that door? You're letting all the heat out. All right, go ahead.
And the precious vessels.
All our precious things they took. Go ahead.
Also, he took the hidden treasures which he found.
And we had our stash of our hidden treasures, of our ancient things, and our the money. The priest had the money because people had to pay tithes. So the priest had the money. Everything was in Jerusalem.
Okay.
They took it. Go ahead.
Verse 24. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly.
And he spoke very proudly, man. Did wickedly towards our people, took all our things out our temple and left, man. We were straight robbed by this man, by these people. We were robbed. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 25. Therefore, there was a great mourning in Israel.
There was a great mourning in Israel. We was sad. We was in mourning during this time. This is what this feast day is all about. Because this is the history of what happened to our people. And the Lord wanted us to remember it because he gave us the victory. But this is what started. This is what started it. Go ahead.
Come. In every place where they were. Verse 26. So that the princes and elders mourned.
So that the princes and the elders mourned. Our people was in sadness. This is what happened, man. Go ahead.
Come. The virgins and young men were made feeble.
Feeble. The virgins and the young men were made feeble, which means they were like, usually that's the young women and the young men. They were made feeble. They were made weak. They were scared. That's what this is talking about. This is when our people became scared and weak, feeble. Oh, what are we going to do? Oh, man. This was a sad time. But we knew something was going to happen. But at this moment, we were sad, man. This was at a low point. Go ahead.
Con. And the beauty of women was changed.
And the beauty of the women was changed. So our women, same as today, the beauty of our women have changed. Which means basically they weren't happy and cheerful. Like that's beautiful in a woman when she, in a good, positive attitude. She's happy, she's cheerful. But at this time, our women was not happy. They were not cheerful. It was sad, fearful. Go ahead.
Con. Every bridegroom took up lamentation.
Every bridegroom took up lamentation. Bridegroom is the husbands. Go ahead.
Con. And she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness.
She that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. Which she's supposed to have been in happiness because she's in the marriage chamber. She's, getting married, the honeymoon time. There wasn't no honeymoon during this time for our people. Go ahead.
Verse 28. The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof. And all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion.
And we were covered with confusion. The heathens just came in, took everything out of our temple, took all our gold, stripped it off the walls, took our gold coins, took our treasures, and then just left us. And doing wickedly to our people. We know this feeling because it's the same feeling we get when we see on the news a brother gets something bad happens to a brother. We get that same feeling, a feeling of sadness, or a feeling of being down, or like feebleness. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 29. Mm-hmm. And after 2 years fully.
After 2 years passed. So they took our stuff and everything. 2 years passed. We just, we wasn't able to get justice. When nothing happened. We wasn't able to get our things back or nothing. Go ahead.
Expired. The king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah.
Then after that, they sent a tax collector to come collect money from us. After they stole our stuff, then want to come back and say, all right, you owe taxes. You got to pay us taxes now. Whew. That's a rough pill to swallow right there. That make any man just, lose it. Go ahead.
Who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude.
And he came deep. He came with a great multitude. All right. Basically saying, if you don't give me the taxes, we're going to take it. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 30. And spake speakable words unto them, but all was deceit.
They came trying to speak all nice and like they are friends, but it was all a lie. They just robbed our temple, did our people wrong. Then they come back saying, well, it's time for tax season, but, we're all friends, right? Everything's cool. Try to act like we're supposed to be friends now. The main reason they came like that is because you had some of our people who still wanted to join them. Our people still wanted to join them after they took everything we had. So that let them know, oh yeah, we can be cool. Yeah, we can be cool. But why we want to be cool us ones that ain't wicked, that don't want to be with you, why would we be cool with you? What'd you ever do for us? See, this is how the rich, our people that is rich, they think like this. Oh man, everything's okay, even though it was bad back in the day. That was back in the day. We got money now. We friends. We're friends with them now. What the hell? How the hell we become friends? Because you got some money, now we friends with them? Because you want to do wickedly, now we all friends with them? No, we're not. We want justice for what happened. We want our things back. All our stuff is in the Vatican, man. The real gold, the real diamonds, the real jewels. They got it. Go ahead.
Okay. For when they had given him credences, he fell suddenly upon the city.
Soon as they start being nice, what did he do? Fell. Read that part again.
He fell suddenly.
No, upon the city.
Upon the city. And smote it very sore. And destroyed much people of Israel.
All that cool talk, trying to be cool, trying to join with them, and they did the same thing they did before. When we gonna learn? They do the same thing every time, yet there's somebody say, oh, this is different. This time is different. That was in the past. You're supposed to learn from the past, so you don't repeat it. You're supposed to learn from your mistakes. Like, all right, I went that way. That was the wrong way. Okay, I bought this, but it didn't work. So let me buy something different. You're supposed to learn from the past. Go ahead.
Go, verse 31. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire.
What did he do?
He set it on fire.
Then he set our city on fire. All these calamities because we want to join with them. Go ahead.
Go. And pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side.
Pull down the houses and walls. Destroy brothers' houses, man. Imagine they destroy this. Then we ain't got nowhere to sleep. We got to go figure out a place to sleep somewhere. Go sleep on somebody's couch. Destroyed our homes. Pulled them down. Go ahead.
Verse 32. But the women and the children took they captive.
And the women and children took captive. They took them to, this is where we went into Greece. All right, go ahead.
Go. And possess the cattle. Verse 33. Then builded they the city of David with a great and strong wall, and with a mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them.
So after they burnt down our houses, did all that, destroyed the city, they built a part up and built a tower so they can be in there and be safe in our land.
Go.
If you could, Tuzbah, you top me up.
Go, sir.
So this is what they did. This is what we got, and this is what our people want to go back to today. This is what we want to go back to. We want to go back to the same type of way.
Go.
Oh, it's just about forgiving and moving and coming together, and that's in the past. Let's be at peace. Covenant. Make a covenant. Go ahead.
Go, sir. verse 35.
Mhm.
They stored it also with armor
You come on.
and victuals.
And they stored it with food and water and victuals so they could be in there without coming out. So they just be in there without having to come out. You know.
Come.
I'm so what?
Oh, no, me.
When they
Oh, you can
had,
get you some as much as you want.
so
Go ahead.
I don't want to interrupt, sir.
Yeah, you good.
when they have gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there, and so they became a sore snare.
Mm. I mean, they became a snare, a trap unto us. So they were in our city, in a tower with all types of food and water and victuals, so they could stay in there and take and attack us from there. That's the pit. That's the history on it. You know. Let's see. Let's get more. Any more? Any more? In the scripture?
Verse 36. For it was a place to lie and wait against the sanctuary, and an evil adversary to Israel.
Mm-hmm. So basically, they would sit in that tower, and when people would come to the temple from different lands, different places in Israel, they would rob them.
Come.
They would say, "Oh, to come through here, you got to pay us $1,000, or to just take everything they got."
Come.
So they became a sore snare unto us, because our people wanted to go to Jerusalem, serve the Most High.
Come, sir.
Mm-hmm. Let's get more.
Come. We're gonna go to verse 36.
Mm-hmm.
For for it was a place to lie and wait against the sanctuary, and come,
Go ahead.
and an evil adversary to Israel.
And they were an evil adversary to Israel. They were an adversary to Israel. Go ahead.
Verse 37. Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it.
Mm-hmm. So look what they did. Look how wicked that was, what they did. So people coming to the temple, they would unalive them. They would shed their blood on every side of the temple. I'm painting the picture. Well, the scriptures is painting the picture of what was going on, of how bad of a situation we was in. All right, go ahead.
Verse 38. Insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled.
The inhabitants of Jerusalem fled, which means our people stopped coming around Jerusalem. And that's the city, the holy city of the Lord. That's the city of the Lord. But we stopped coming around there.
Come.
Totally alienating us from the service of the Most High in our city in Jerusalem. Go ahead. Let's get more.
Whereupon the city was made an inhabitant of strangers.
So now, but we stopped coming in the city. Now start becoming a place of strangers. Others were there. Now you go there, we ain't even there. Go ahead.
And became strange to those that were born in her.
It became strange to the people that were born in Israel, in Jerusalem. Go ahead.
Come. And her own children left her.
Her own children left her. The children of Jerusalem, we had to abandon Jerusalem because it was too dangerous for us to be there. Same way it is now in our own neighborhoods. Sometimes it's too dangerous to be in our own neighborhoods. That's not a good thing. That's something that we got to get right with the Lord to fix. Go ahead.
Verse 39. Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness.
Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness, which means it was like with trees and bushes grown up on it. Like nobody ever took care of it. And it was just tore down. Go ahead.
Come. Her feasts were like what were turned into mourning.
Her feasts were turned into mourning. We had to cry about the feast. Go ahead.
Come. Her Sabbaths into reproach, her honor into contempt.
Basically, everything that we loved about it, now we hated it. Everything that was great about the school, the truth, and the temple, now we hated it. Because it was a reminder that we couldn't have the temple anymore.
Come.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 40. As had been her glory, so was her dishonor increased.
Mm-hmm.
And her excellency was turned into mourning.
And her excellency was turned into mourning. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
And they said everybody needs to join together. That's what they say now, right? It's a melting pot. This is all for us to join together and be one. But you destroyed all our stuff. You stole our stuff. Just because some time passed don't mean, that don't mean nothing anymore. You stole our things. You destroyed our temple. You did wickedly to us. Now you tell us let's all be together. And some people fall for it, not us. We too wise for that. We too manly for that. We're not the type to just say, oh, yeah, well, I know you punched me in the face and you stole my stuff, but we could be friends. No, man. That's not it.
Right.
You have to stand up with the Most High.
Come.
All right.
Hey, if I could, other one.
Yeah.
My question would be,
Don't say none of the heathens. You can't say none.
God.
If you do, you gotta say the biblical names.
God. I ain't nothing about that. It's more like, you know what I'm saying? It's more like, okay, brothers and everything like that. We really have to understand. We all is like we the same. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even matter where you come from, where I come from. We all is brothers. Mm-hmm. We come from the same thing. Everybody come from the same thing. Just like, you know what I'm saying? Anybody that say that, they be like, I came from this. Guess what? I came from that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But this is the problem. The wicked of us, they don't want to think like that.
Come.
The wicked of us,
right.
They want to say, let's just join the others. Why are we still trying to be together? Let's stop being together and join everybody.
Come.
Okay, that's what they're trying to push.
Go.
All right. Any more in the scripture? Because then we're gonna get to the flip side.
We got not on that.
Let's get more in the scripture. What we got?
Con. I can get more on that. Verse 46.
Mm-hmm.
This the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 45.
Mm-hmm.
And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and burnt offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and the feast days or the festival days.
Mm-hmm. So we stopped having all the feast days. We stopped. Yes, we're reading from the Apocrypha. For people watching on the TikTok asking questions. We stopped having all our feast days. Stop having our high holy days. All right. So this is the state we was in. Now let's go to 2 Maccabees. Go to 2 Maccabees. And we're going to go to chapter 15, 2 Maccabees chapter 15. Start at verse 12. Second Maccabees chapter 15, verse 12. Yeah, Hachaanakuh.
You said 15 as well?
Yep, 2 Maccabees chapter 15, verse 12.
Come, God. Whenever you want me to read, I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
Come. This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 15, verse 12. And this was his vision, that Onias, who had been high priest, a virtuous and good man, reverent in conversation, gentle in condition, well spoken, also, and exercised from a child in all points of virtue, holding up his hands, pray for the whole body of the Jews.
Right. His brother. So the brother had a vision, had a dream that the high priest was praying for us, because this is when, after all that bad things happened, we was done. We decided to stand up for the Most High and stand up for our people. So he's encouraging the men to get ready to take the temple back. Go ahead.
Verse 13. This done. In like manner, there appeared a man with gray hairs
Mm-hmm.
and exceedingly glorious, who was of a wonderful and excellent majesty.
Majesty. Mm-hmm. There's an angel coming in his vision. Go ahead.
Verse 14. Then Onias answered, saying, this is a lover of the brethren,
Mm-hmm.
who prayeth much for the people.
That's what we do. We pray for our people all the time. Got long prayers. Every class, every night we do the classes. We doing the prayers. Go ahead.
And for the holy city,
And we pray for the holy city. Go ahead.
to wit, Jeremiah, the prophet of God. Verse 15. Whereupon Jeremiah, holding forth his right hand, gave to Judas a sword of gold.
Now, in the dream, in the vision, he was given a sword of gold. That's why look at this, Tazba. He was giving him a sword of gold. You know, man. Yeah. Sword of gold.
Yeah. Damn right.
Go ahead. You got a question? Yes, I gave it to you. All of it. You want something? Yeah, get as much as you want. Go ahead.
And in giving it spake thus.
Just and he gave him the sword and he told him this. Go ahead.
Come God, verse 16. Take this holy sword.
Take this holy sword. Go ahead. Holy meaning separate. It's for the work of the Lord. Go ahead.
A gift from God,
A gift from God. Go ahead.
with the which thou shalt wound the adversaries.
You're gonna wound the adversary with this golden sword. Go ahead.
Verse 17. Thus being well comforted,
Well comforted. Go
well
ahead.
comforted
Mhm.
by the words of Judas.
This is Judas telling the men this stuff. He said, man, I had a vision, had a dream. The prophet came to me, prophet Jeremiah, and he gave me a golden sword and said, we're going to wound the enemy. We're going to wound the heathen with it, the adversaries with it. Go ahead.
Which were very good,
Mm-hmm.
and able to stir them up to valor.
To valor. After he told them this, they had their spirit back. They had their heart back. They were stirred up to valor, to be heroes. Go ahead.
Come gun. And to encourage the hearts of the young men.
And they encouraged the hearts of the young men. They start having courage again. Go ahead.
They determined not to pitch camp,
Mm-hmm. So they didn't say, well, let's set up camp here. Go ahead.
but
Courageous.
courageously
Mm-hmm.
to set upon them.
So they said, instead of setting up camp here, let's go get the heathens right now. You know what I'm saying? This is what we did back then. You know what I mean? They said, let's go get them now. Let's go fall on them right now. Go ahead.
And manfully to try the matter by conflict.
They said, manfully, we're going to try the matter by conflict. So after they told them this, they got their balls back, man. They got their spirit back. They got courage back. They stopped being afraid. Go ahead.
Because the city and the sanctuary and the temple were in danger.
They knew enemies was on every side around the temple. That's where they get this from. That's where they get the movies from, like Lord of the Rings and the Twin Towers and this and that.
Right.
Because we the ones, we was the real Twin Towers. We had all the heathen ogres all around us. You know what I'm saying? And it was just a little bit of us. Go ahead.
They was like excited. They were so excited when they see stuff like that. Like it was really our history, but it was like they're so excited. You know what I'm saying? They had to make a movie and everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
They want to take the fame, the glory, and all this land.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Make it seem like they the one that did it.
Yep.
That's all
Yep.
I want to say. I don't want.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Come on.
For people, we'll probably answer questions on the TikTok live, probably the last 10 minutes. But we got to get the feast day story out first.
Come.
Go ahead.
Come. Where were we at again?
18.
Verse 17.
No, it was 18, sir.
Yeah, we started at 18.
Start with 18.
Mm-hmm.
Come. Verse 18. This is the book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 15, verse 18.
Yep.
For the care that they took for their wives.
For the care they took for their wives. So they had wives, but they wasn't worried about them right now. They knew they had to do this for the Lord. They wasn't worried about no women. You know what I mean? They love them. They love their women, their wives. But this right here, we had to do this for the Lord. Put ourselves in danger, even though the Lord, for the Lord. Go ahead.
Come. And their children.
Mm-hmm.
Their brethren.
Mm-hmm.
Their folks.
Mm-hmm.
Was in least account with them.
It was in least account with them. Close that door, Bible Shah tells about. So they stopped worried about, oh, I got children. That's what everybody say. Everybody say that when they want to, bow down. Well, we got to think about our wives and our children, and think about our money and stuff like that. At this point, these brothers say, to hell with everything. To hell with that.
Come.
I gotta do this for the Most High. I gotta stand up. Go ahead.
Come.
Mm-hmm.
And to encourage the hearts of the young men.
Mm-hmm.
They determined not to pitch camp.
No, go down to we had verse 18.
Come.
The middle of verse 18.
Come.
Was that the brethren?
But the greatest and principal fear was for the holy temple.
So they stopped being all fearful. They start caring about the holy temple. They said, we got to get our temple back, even if it means, costing us our lives. We got to get this temple back. And so because it was dangerous. They knew some of them might not make it back, but they said we got to do this for the temple, to get this temple back for our people. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 19. Also, they that were in the city took not the least care,
Mm-hmm.
being troubled for the conflict abroad.
People knew. They said this is a conflict. We can't worry about, things ain't, my money or these packages ain't coming right or something ain't going right in the city. We know right now it's a time for conflict. So whatever things we got to deal with until this conflict is over, they knew don't matter. We're going to deal with it. While we missing money, they're going to always say that. We're going to miss out on some money. What if we lose our jobs? What if we don't get $10? What if this happen? What if that happen? This time, these brothers, they said, man, the hell with any of that. We got a mission to accomplish. So we lose anything, lose everything. We did it doing for this mission, for the Lord.
So, like I said, real quick, one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shoot, if the Russian... Chinese,
No, you don't want to say, you can't say, you can't say, no. You got to say their biblical names or
right.
Don't say nothing.
Oh, God. I'll leave that for the news.
Yeah. All right. So Where we at on the scripture? Let's go down to verse. We in 2 Maccabees chapter 15, verse 20.
15 and 20.
Mm-hmm.
Come, sir.
Let's get it.
and 20.
Mm-hmm.
Second Battle, 15 and 20.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already there. Part one.
Cool.
Come. This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 15, verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
And now, when all looked what should be the trial, and the enemies were already come near.
So you start seeing all the enemies coming near. Go ahead.
Come. And the army was set in array.
They seen the army in battle array against us. Go ahead.
And the beast conveniently placed.
And the beast conveniently placed because they had war elephants. When you read in the other parts of the scriptures, they had war elephants. So they had the elephants out there. One brother went under the elephant and took it out. You know what I'm saying? But the elephant fell on him after he took it out and it killed him or unalived him. Go ahead.
And the horsemen set in wings.
And the horsemen set in wings. If you know the arrays back in the day, the horses would be on the sides. So when you start getting into it, the horses could come around the back of you and start trying to get you from behind. So the horses were set in wings. So they had the horses ready and everything. So we going against elephants, a whole bunch of heathens, and horses. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 21. Maccabees, seeing the coming of the multitude and the divers
Preparations of armor.
And the fierceness of the beast.
He's seeing the fierceness of the beasts. He's seeing the elephants. You know, they be like, "Arr!" You know, they get real loud. You know what I'm saying? They start stomping, everything starts shaking. He like, man, he looking at that. Go ahead.
God. Stretched out his hand towards heaven.
So he stretched out his hand. He stretched out his hand towards heaven. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they do in the movies. Like, let's go. He ready to get it in. Go ahead.
And called upon the Lord.
And did what?
Called upon the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
That work of wonders.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that victory cometh not by arms.
Mm-hmm.
But even as it seemed good to him, he giveth it to such as are worthy.
He said he know it don't matter how many horses and elephants you have. The Lord decide who's going to win. He going to give it to whoever is most worthy to win.
Come.
Go ahead.
Verse 23. Verse 22. Therefore, in his prayer, he said after this manner, O Lord, thou didst send thy angel in thy time of Ezekiel, king of Judah, and didst slay in the host of Sennacherib.
Hold on a second. We get to where you're at.
Sennacherib.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Sennacherib. And 100 and 5,000.
So this is what he said in his prayer. He said, remember, Lord, when Ezekiel or Ezekiah, king of Judah, when he did slay 104 and 5,000. When we had, the Lord gave us victory before, even though the odds was against us. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 23. Wherefore, now also, O Lord of heaven, send a good angel before us for a fear and a dread unto them.
Lord, he prayed for the Lord to send an angel unto us to help us in the battle. All right, let's go down to verse 27.
Come on, God. Verse 27. It's the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 15, verse 27. So they're fighting with their hands
So they're fighting with their hands. Go ahead.
and praying unto God with their hearts.
And prayed unto the Most High with their hearts. Go ahead.
They slew no less than 35,000 men. For thou, the appearance of God, they were greatly cheered.
So they end up taking them out, man. The battle was hard and rough, but they was manfully, man. They with they weapons in their hands and the God in their heart, they went and took them out. They won the battle because the Lord was with them. The Lord made them fight manfully, made them do amazingly. Now let's go to yeah.
So I just want to remind you, I'm sure we all know this, so like, all this idea come from the Bible, like, so like, I mean, like, I'm saying the war stuff and everything, you know what I'm saying? But I won't say too much, but like, I know, it's making sense to me, so like, what you know, the pressure gets all these ideas from is why they do what they do. They get it from the Bible.
Right.
You know
That's it.
mean? And then so you learn how to steal and everything, now let's take it and like, and claim it's theirs.
That's exactly what to do. Now let's go down.
You gotta be able to read something.
Go to verse 31. Oh, wait. 30. Go to verse 30. No, hold on. This is a good part. 28. Let's go back. Let's go to 28. Where are we supposed to be?
28.
Verse 28.
Come. This the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 15, verse 28. Now, when the battle was done,
and when the battle was done,
come, returning again with joy, they knew that
Nicanor
lay dead in his harness.
That was it. That was the main one. That was the enemy king, basically. The enemy king, he was unalived in his harness. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 29. Then they made a great shout and a noise.
A great shout and a noise. Kum Yashal. Go ahead.
Praising the Almighty in their own language.
Praise the Most High in our own language, in that ancient Hebrew.
Come.
Let's get it.
Verse 30. And Judas, who was ever the chief defender of the citizens, both in body and mind.
Judas was our main defender. He was our commander. You understand? Go ahead.
Come. And who continued his love toward his countrymen all his life, commanded to strike off
Nicanor's
head, and his hand, and his shoulder, and bring him to Jerusalem.
Yeah, took it all off of them. Toom and boom, so they can know this was the guy who was the main enemy against us, and he's no more. Go ahead.
Come, verse 31. So when he was there and called them of his nation together and set the priests before the altar, he sent for them that there of the tower.
Sent for them that were of the tower. Remember that tower that we read about in First Maccabees, where they made a big tower and it was inside of it? Now it was our time to go get that damn tower. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get them up out of that tower. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's on now. Now we beat them in the field. Now we're going to get them coming back for all the rest of them that's around here. And that's what we went for that tower. They were sitting in that tower thinking, oh, we good, we safe, we up high in the tower. Can't nobody get to us until we showed up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we showed up and we went for that tower. All right. That's what it was. That's what we did. So we came back and got all them people that was against us. All the ones that did that wickedness to us. We came back. So that's what happens. Let's get more in the scripture.
Come. What is that? Verse 30?
32. We're at 32 now.
Come. 32. And shoot them vile
Nicanor's
head in the hand of the blasphemer, which with proud brags he had stretched out against the holy temple of the Almighty.
So he took his head and showed it to them same people in the tower because they know that's their king. They know that's their commander. So they know if he done, then it's going to be ugly for them. Yeah, hold your point. All right. Let's get it.
Come, verse 33. And when he had cut out the tongue of that ungodly Nicodemus, he commanded that they should give it up or give it by pieces unto the fowls and hang up the reward of his madness before the temple. So like you, sir. So he's like, he basically like, I got his head. I got his motherfucking head. Fuck this nigga.
Don't say that.
So I get he basically saying like,
all right,
hold
your point. So yeah, that's exactly what he was saying.
He's like,
saying, but hold your point.
Come.
We gotta finish it out. We got a little bit, like a couple more verses.
Come.
Now let's go down to verse 36. Let's get it. Verse 36. Matter of fact, finish 35. Finish verse 35.
Come.
Second Maccabees 15:35.
Come. Just the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 15, verse 35. He hanged also Nicanor's
Nicanor.
Nicanor's
Mhm.
head upon the tower,
Mhm.
and evident and manifest sign unto all of the help of the Lord.
To show everybody that this is the help of the Lord. That we take that, these top guys, this is their head. Go ahead.
Come, verse 36. And they ordained all with a common decree, in no case to let that pass,
That
or
day pass.
that let day pass without solemnity.
Mhm. Solemnity, which means they said this day right here is a special day. In the future, we can't let this day pass. This is when they start saying this got to be Hachaanakuh. We got to remember this day every year. We can't let it pass without solemnity, which means solemnness, which is a solemn assembly, which means we come together and remember our brothers and feast to what our brothers did. And it did on that day. Because at that day, because before you seen how the heathens was acting, they took our stuff, robbed us, came back acting like they was our friend. Then they want to rob us again, talking about pay taxes, but let's still be friends. No, it's okay. We got this now. You know what I'm saying? We show this to everybody. This will happen when you rob the temple. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Come. But to celebrate the 30th day of the 12th month, which in the Syrian tongue is the Adar,
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
the day before
Mardoshus Day.
Mardoshus Day.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 37. Thus went into Nicar,
Mm-hmm.
and from the time forth the Hebrews had the city in their power.
Mm-hmm.
And here will I make an end.
This is where the end of the story is. You know what I'm saying? The end of the story. It was now we had a 7-day feast. Now we about to feast for 7 days, starting today. Feast for 7 days, which is the feast of Hachaanakuh. One sec. All right. And for people who keep saying it starts tomorrow night, it's even. A day is even unto even. So at sundown today is technically the start of tomorrow. So it's biblical timeline, not what we think. Oh, the day starts at midnight. So now it's midnight. Now we need to start a new day. The day don't start at midnight. The day start at sundown. So now technically now we're in tomorrow's day. When the sun goes down tomorrow, now it's the next day. The sun goes down, it's a new day. You know what I mean? So every time the sun goes down, that's the start of a new day. All right. So it's don't work by like midnight because we didn't have watches. We wasn't like, oh, it's midnight, so that means it's a new day. We didn't go by that. We went by the sun going down. So since the sun went down a few hours ago, today is the new day already. So today is the day of Hachaanakuh. All right. For people online, new to this information and whatnot, don't really know why we're doing it today, which is the real day to do it. All right. Boom. Let's get the rest of it.
Come.
Verse 38.
Come.
Let's get it.
This the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 15, verse 38.
Close the door. Go ahead.
And if I have done well, and it as is fitting the story,
Mm-hmm.
it is that which I desire.
And there's more to this story in the rest of the scriptures. Like it's whole two books, First Maccabees, Second Maccabees, with we had whole bunch of battles. This was the main ones. I told you I read the beginning of it and the end. I didn't read the middle of it. So like the brothers reading this story, it says here, hopefully he showed a good fitting of the story. It's time to read the rest of it too. Go ahead.
But if slenderly and meanly, it is that which I could attain unto.
So this is what he could attain unto by telling the story the best he can. There's more to this story, which is in the rest of the chapters. Go ahead.
Verse 39. For as it is hurtful to drink wine or water alone, and as wine mingled with water is pleasant.
You want some wine? You drink it with water. That's pleasant. That's what he's saying about the story. Go ahead. There's more to it.
And delightful the taste. Even so speech finally framed delighteth. The ears of them that readeth the story and they hear shall be an end.
Clap that up. It's the end of the story, man. So all this, what happened to our people, we end up winning in the end. The Lord gave us the victory in the end. So no matter how it looks in this kingdom, how bad things can be, how bad things get in this kingdom, in this empire, guess what? The Lord, we still going to win in the end. Just like we did back in the day, just like we're going to do again in this day and age. All right, I'm going to take about a couple minutes, and you can go ahead and read the security announcements. Everybody clap that up. Hey, shalom. Oh, it's right here, Slack.
Come on, sir.
There you go.
What you want me to read?
The security announcements.
Just that.
Security announcements, and we'll do the Lord's Prayer.
Come.
Time's sake. Go ahead. You just read that without saying a mantra or nothing like that.
Oh, come.
Just read the security announcements while we sit.
God. This the ISBK security announcement. We are the ISBK. Started out of 1 West, 125th. 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months.
Right.
They are to be saluted. They are to be shed themselves of the world. If they need transportations, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular brother, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes. which is a commandment. It's in the book of Numbers 18 and 21, and the book of Malachi, verse 3, 6 or 8 and 1. Means ties in the Hebrew, Mashawat. 10%. 10 in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of increase of the Lord that gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or a teacher. Priest funds. Free will. Offering for the priest. It's not mandatory. Whosoever amount you would like. The upcoming convocations. Convocations will be
the closing of Hachaanakuh.
It will be Hanukkah, and the closing of Hanukkah will be that. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, scarf.
All right. That said, I imagine upon the Hakudam, which means rise and face the east. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer. I'll read it in the Hebrew, you read it in the English. You can do it in the English, and I'll do it in the Hebrew.
God, sir. God. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh,
thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done. In earth. As it is our debtors.
As it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven. Give us our day. Our daily bread. Forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not.
Lead us not to temptation.
And lead us not.
Lead us not temptation.
But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it.
The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Haya. Shemka. Yahweh. Malakwatha. Thaba'ah. Ratazaka. Haya. Aisha. Ba'arataza. Kawa. Haya. Bashamayim. Nathan Lanawa. Lakam. Kal. Yawam. Wasalak Nawa. Kawabwaki Nawa. Kasalak Nawa. Kawabwaki Nawa. Wala'a. Tabayaya Nawa. Banasaya 1. Abol. Hawashai Nawa. Mayan. Rod. Kaya. Laka. Amalakwa. Waha'ala. Wathapara. Lawalamium. Aman. Sar, it's turn. Sisters, be seated. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel. Ma'am Shabbat. Imajim. Barak. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai Barakatham. Yazmatah. Sisters, rise. Men Sar, turn, face the sisters. Men of Israel, Ma'am Shabbat, Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Shemar Al-Tham Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Yazmatah, class dismissed. These days dismissed. Let's get the food popping. for all the people who don't know about the Hebrew. They always want to say, read Hebrew, read Hebrew.
I see the one where he was messing
And you
up.
know they be saying that now, right?
I see the one where he was messing up. I had to say it. I was like, because I memorize because I hear it all the time. So it's like, I was like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying?
This joint is
But he's
grown.
new, so it's like, you need
This joint grown. Like for real.
Yeah,
This shit is fucking
Nah.
grown.
Oh,
Like
it's a lot,
real.
son. I was gonna say
3,500 views on TikTok Live.
3,000.
What?
3,500.
That's a lot.
3,000.
3,524 views.
Oh, so like I said, I was gonna say was like, I wasn't gonna say
Oh,
that
shoot, take your live off.
Oh, damn. Oh, somebody?
Take your live off. You know how to do it? It's pretty easy. Just go to end broadcast.